I've been thinking about a bunch of strangers living in one house and having to share the same kitchen and other facilities. And no, I'm not talking about Big Brother. I'm thinking no scripts. Now, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? If only there were a way to make it possible. If you could somehow convert a single family property into a house in multiple occupation. Oh wait, you can! But first, what are the features that characterize an HMO? Well, they go something like this. 3 or more tenants living in a property. The tenants are not from the same household. They pay rent individually, i.e. themselves. The property is their main residence, and you require a license to rent out an HMO, and your property is defined, therefore, as an HMO. The license will expire after 5 years, and you must update accordingly if you want to carry on running as an HMO operator. When it comes to HMOs, location does matter a lot. For example, an area that is filled with students is an ideal location for you to invest as an HMO strategy. You need to meet certain criteria to have your home defined as an HMO. Take, for example, the number of people living there. A property owner, as in you, need to follow all the regulations, and there are quite a few of them. A local authority will bestow a license upon you, so you must read up on their laws too, and don't take it for granted. And you don't want to be fined with unlimited fines or huge fines for renting out an unlicensed HMO. Stay under the radar and follow the rules. Now you might be thinking, how do I convert a home to an HMO? Before going down that particular rabbit hole that is an HMO, it is best if you have prior experience in the world of property investing. Not essential, but desirable. See, if you don't have just stacks of cash lying around in your house somewhere, behind the sofa, in a cupboard somewhere, under your mattress, then it will help to have experience. And you have to know the local planning laws and the permission required for converting to an HMO, and obviously planning is a big part of it, and whether or not you need planning depends on every single local authority quite differently. And just as a heads up, fines can go anywhere up to £20,000. You must convert the property from a C3 dwelling house to an HMO C4 status type under the General Permitted Development Order GDPO regulations, which were published on the 1st of October 2010, a long time ago. Councils are beginning to revoke permission for HMO projects that are not maintained to appropriate standards, and for good reason too, and I agree with them on this particular point. Because someone isn't operating within the rules, then the local authority must take action. However, there are further causes for a local authority which has increased their compliance and rigor. These include antisocial behavior, and there can be a lot of that, especially when there's a high density of HMOs. Loss of local character, noise complaints, and there are lots, especially in high density. Increased pressure on local services, and we're all feeling that. Increased levels of crime. Now I'm not saying they're linked to HMOs, but the statistics show that. HMO room conversions. Some rooms will probably need to have their purpose changed, and you may also need to move or build walls to change the size of a particular room. As you concentrate on the most important, as you focus on the more important aspects of an HMO conversion and assess whether any enormous improvements require planning approval or not, it's also a good idea to consult a specialist. Another well-liked option for HMO owners is to run or use a garage and use that for extra living space. And you've got to check that with your local authority before doing any work, because this may require planning. Traditional Victorian terraced homes and comparable buildings provide excellent opportunities for running an HMO business and a conversion in many circumstances. This is a result of their vast reception rooms and their open layout. Although it must be said that the conversion of a reception room is widespread and frequently necessary, it's not always the best choice. You should give it some serious thought, since homes could turn some tenants off without living rooms or reception areas. So get to know your tenants and the demand in the particular area, and you'll need to budget adequately for the cost and duration of converting a particular property, which obviously is going to vary depending on the state of the property and how much work is required to convert it into an HMO. What are the benefits of converting a property to an HMO? Well, the first one and the obvious one is higher income compared to having a single let, because you're renting by the room, and therefore you'll have more rooms, more tenants, and more income, turnover, rent, cash flow. Students and professionals who commute throughout the work week are increasingly embracing HMOs because they are more affordable, and also having no responsibility for the upkeep or maintenance of an entire property has some clear advantages for renters. And large HMOs will usually require a separate and individual cleaner. Therefore, professionals who utilize their space can leave them over the weekend and return to a tidy space on Monday. Wishful thinking. You will require a particular HMO mortgage if you're converting your property into an HMO. Therefore, you should consult with a broker or a finance advisor who can navigate you and help you with all the guidance and all the ins and outs. HMOs can provide a property owner more peace of mind because they don't depend on just one tenant for their rent, but it is more work, and I think it's hard work, and there are better property strategies, by the way, but that doesn't mean HMOs don't work. They do work. A 4-bedroom home that generates, let's say, £1,200 in monthly rental income, just as an illustration, you could make over £2,000 by renting each room, say, for £125 a week. You can make more than £2,000, by the way. The fact that when a renter decides they no longer want to rent, they simply need to modify one room. And that's another benefit. The cost of redecorating a single family home, the cost of decorating a family home interior can be quite burdensome and expensive. You can find websites that can help you discover new tenants. However, creating an HMO has a number of drawbacks, such as you may need planning permission. Additionally, there are rules and regulations and insurance requirements to get the license that you need to run an HMO lawfully, and lawfully you must. Now, moving on to how to finance an HMO conversion. Checking the number of HMOs in your area before you get started is a good idea, because local authorities can have limits, and it's wise to review the Article 4 directive regulations in your region and learn more about that. And that might not be in every single area, but make sure you know about it. Lenders will search for experience because it is more difficult to finance an HMO, but this does not mean that you always need expertise, but you need to obviously make sure you've got people who can support you throughout your journey. It will assist your funding of the work if you can demonstrate that you have prior experience as a property owner with single lets or managing properties, as well as taking care of tenants and dealing with obviously vacancies. An HMO generally does not allow for as much borrowing as a single let home, with all things being equal. Additionally, be prepared to wait, as HMOs demand more paperwork and information, which delays the approval process. Lenders will compare the property's worth to nearby housing costs, and obviously if it's a decent sized HMO, then lenders and a value will look at the rental income and base the value on that. Therefore, if your predicted value differs materially from reality, it could make it more difficult to convince lenders to approve your loan, because you need a valuation. So it's crucial to contact a broker as soon as you can to get a good handle on this. And tell your broker what you want so that they can check whether they think that particular property is appropriate for an HMO. Brokers aren't HMO advisors, but they can help, support and guide you. Now, this may have sparked some curiosity in HMOs, and you might be keen to learn more, and that's fine. Like I said, it's not one of the strategies I use, but I'm just sharing one that works well for many different people. By spreading your monthly income among several sources, i.e. tenants, HMOs are a terrific method to increase profitability and to reduce risk, and also to give more people the ability to rent a room. HMOs do, however, have restrictions, so you should do your homework before starting an HMO business. And of course, speak to a specialist lawyer if you want more information on the legal sides, and a broker, so they can advise you on that. HMOs can be a thrilling endeavor given the present housing market and the difficulty that we're going through, including of course the cost of living. HMOs look like they will continue to become more popular. Leave a comment below if you're running an HMO, to share your experience with others, and if you're new to HMOs, if you've got any questions, leave a comment and I'll be happy to answer it.